Hey everyone. This week on Trend Hacker Future Stories, we're diving headfirst into the world of cloud seeding. It's this crazy idea where we, humans, try to control the weather. This whole topic started in the 1940s with a scientist named Vincent Schaefer. He had this groundbreaking idea that we could make it rain whenever we wanted. Imagine never having to worry about droughts again. Farmers would love it. But hold on a second. As cool as cloud seeding sounds, there's a whole lot we don't know. What if all this messing with the weather messes with the environment too? What happens to all that silver iodide we use to make the rain fall? Does it just hang out in the soil forever? And what about messing up weather patterns for other places? We could be stealing rain from one area to give it to another. Cloud seeding is a double-edged sword. It can potentially be a game changer, but it also comes with some serious risks. So the question is it worth it? Are we being too ambitious, or is this the key to a more secure future? Explore the future story below. Let me steal 7 minutes of your time, and in return, give you new inspirations outside of your bubble. Somewhere in a desert, 2034. In the heart of the reclaimed desert, TerraGen's agricultural oasis bloomed a defiant splash of green against the bleached canvas of sand. Dr. Amelia Rainer watched the drone disappear on her pad, reflecting her sun-rugged face, a knot of unease tightening in her stomach. This wasn't just another experiment, it was a gamble. This reminds me of the pioneering days of weather engineering, Rainer mused, the drone becoming a speck against the sun's glare. Back a decade, when the world awakened to the potential of controlling the skies. Alex, a senior researcher with a permanent furrow in his brow, scoffed. Controlling the skies? It's more like playing dice with a chaotic system. Remember the dust storms in 29? Reckless experimentation with cloud seeding for a quick fix. Rainer's expression turned contemplative. And now, here we are, with our latest seeding agent, adaptive nanomaterials. A far cry from brute force seeding, yes, but the essence remains the same, manipulating weather patterns. Rainer dove headfirst into the ethical dilemma. Reckless startups were running rogue experiments with weather manipulation, and the scientific community was in an uproar, demanding international regulations. They certainly tried to sound the alarm, Rainer conceded, his gaze tracking a disappearing drone. But can you blame nations desperate for water? Water is life, after all. A thoughtful frown creased his brow. Unfettered innovation can unleash unforeseen consequences, especially when we're meddling with chaotic systems that defy borders. It becomes a zero-sum game. More rain for one means less for another. Simple as that. The vast fields of drought-resistant crops stretched before them, but the unease in Dr. Rainer's gut gnawed at them. The data they were collecting hinted at a darker truth: cloud seeding had pushed the delicate balance of the ecosystem beyond its tipping point in the last decade. Weeks later, Dr. Rainer stood at the podium of the United Nations conference room. We find ourselves at a critical juncture, Rainer begins, their voice cutting through the silence. Our advancements in weather manipulation have ushered us into an era. Let us be honest here of cloud stealing. She believed in TerraGen's technology and its potential to heal the planet. But the data was undeniable. While boosting yields in some regions, it had thrown entire ecosystems into disarray. The screens display a vivid chart showing rainfall patterns over the last decade. Dramatic shifts are evident, with some areas experiencing floods while others, notably in Oman, suffer from unprecedented droughts. Oman, a nation that has utilized cloud seeding for decades, increasing agricultural output by up to 18% in the early 2000s, now witnesses its first significant reduction in rainfall, Rainer explains, pointing to the data indicating a drop from 150 in the north to a mere 50 m, a figure historically typical of the South. The audience is captivated as Rainer navigates through the complex narrative of international relations, strained by environmental manipulation. The aggressive cloud seeding initiatives in the region have significantly impacted regional rainfall distributions, she continues. This isn't just about water, it's about the essence of life and the delicate balance we must maintain. As Rainer delves deeper into the statistics, a stark increase from 50 to nearly 130 countries adopting cloud seeding technologies over the years becomes a focal point. The silent tensions brewing over these actions hold the potential not only for environmental disaster, but for weather manipulation to become a tool in warfare, they caution. The room becomes contemplative as Rainer highlights the dual-edged sword of human ingenuity. The call for a global consensus on ethical guidelines and regulation becomes a plea and a necessity. The path we choose from here will define our legacy. Will it be one of reckless abandon or responsible stewardship? Did we learn from releasing AI freely to the market a decade ago? Rainer's question hangs in the air, challenging the world leaders before them. Back at TerraGen's high-tech research lab, the air crackles with activity and concern. Dr. Rainer paces between workstations, each buzz and beep a reminder of the complex situation they face. Pioneers, yes, but at what cost? Rainer mutters, the question lingering heavily in the lab, now burdened by the ethical weight of their work. A young scientist, Jordan, looks up from a console, their expression a mix of determination and worry. Our cloud seeding operations, they begin hesitantly, are linked to these anomalies. We're altering more than just weather patterns, local ecosystems respond in ways we didn't anticipate. The team gathers around, drawn by Rainer's conviction. If we're to continue, it must be with a preemptive commitment to ethics. Weather manipulation, like AI, holds incredible potential, but without ethical foresight, we risk repeating the same mistake. The conversation pivoted sharply, no more dwelling on past mistakes. The room crackled with new energy as they envisioned the future, TerraGen at the forefront of responsible environmental stewardship. This isn't just about filling bellies and watering crops, Rainer declared, his voice ringing with conviction. We're talking about safeguarding our planet for our grandchildren and beyond. We might be a bit late to the party, but that doesn't mean we can't rewrite the ending. A month later, the culmination of TerraGen's journey unfolded at a pivotal international environmental summit. The air crackled with tension, a room full of diplomats, each representing a nation with a thirsty population. Dr. Rainer stood on stage again, this time flanked by representatives from countries most impacted by water scarcity. The scars of past disagreements were still fresh, but a cautious detense had formed. Rainer didn't propose a global utopia. Instead, they presented a framework for limited, monitored cloud seeding initiatives, emphasizing transparency and data sharing. This approach wouldn't solve everything, but it offered a chance to mitigate the damage and prevent further conflict. The packed auditorium held its breath. This wasn't a happily ever after, it was a fragile truce. Rainer's voice echoed through the hall, pragmatic rather than triumphant. Today, they declared, we don't have to become one big happy family, but we can choose not to be unwitting enemies. By working together, we can share resources, develop responsible technologies, and ensure a future where water isn't a weapon but a shared resource. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be disagreements, violations, and setbacks. But for the first time, there was a framework for cooperation, a flicker of hope in a world facing a growing crisis. The fight for a sustainable future had just begun, and the hard work of diplomacy was far from over.